Forgive me. Thank you to Action Gamer. Looks like we've been missing some audio. So my profuse apologies for that one. Yeah, we're back on now. And there we go. We should be able to hear the track and everything. My apologies. Unusual for me to make that mistake. But Prime goes third at 39.1, just behind Armchair Bike on a 38.6, and Marine on a 38.389. Marine leading our championship and has the opportunity tonight to try and actually lift the trophy for the championship. Sorry, Armchair Bike has the chance to lift the championship. He needs to outscore Marine by 17 points tonight, which I don't think he's done very often. But a DNF from Marine would, of course, hand that advantage over to Armchair Bike. A second place would do in the case of a Marine retirement. Currently, it's Marine from Armchair Bike and Prime, then Radical, Fioretto, Live Now, Tommy, Todd, Michelle, and Instant, the top 10. Some latecomers to the session. Not least, of course, my voice. So that's the situation we find ourselves in. It is round 13 of a 15-round season. We're out here in Azerbaijan, of course. You'll all recognise Azerbaijan if you're listening in, and you've joined us to watch the stream. Tell us who you're here to support. What are your predictions tonight? I think it's a fairly safe bet to predict some safety cars, but how many? Maybe. Yeah, big thanks to Action Gamer and to Tidal Wave for helping me out with the audio situation we found ourselves in due to me not plugging in my mic properly, I think. Anyway, Radical on his next trip, he got the initial pole position time on his first run, but it was bettered by Marine, Armchair Bike and Prime. And let's ride with Radical then and see if he can challenge back again as the track improves. He's on medium tyres, and it's a very handy lap on mediums. It's going to be tricky to beat the top three though. 39.6, his fastest time so far. Really long wait up here to the start-finish straight. And I think he might have looked down away from the screen there because he just made contact, very light contact with the wall. Straight into the pits goes Radicals. Alex Pato goes up to P4 then at 39.5 on his usual different strategy. Alex Pato going for medium tyres, and if he can start fourth on mediums, he'll be in a fantastic position for the race. We'll join Instant, who is on a lap. He's got Michelle ahead, and I think Instant is bailing out of this one. Tommy coming through then, and no improvement this time from Tommy. Todd is on a better lap. Todd is running P10 at the moment. Alex Pato we've lost from the session. I don't know if he's done an early retirement and decided that that was a mega lap and he can't beat it. It looks like it. He's in the pits. Looks like Alex has disappeared on us and gone for a snack or a comfort break as he prepares now for the race. Todd then, half a second improvement, gets him up to P6. Nice work from Todd in the Williams. Beautiful stuff. Down here we've got Michel, who's a second faster than he's been before. His best time was a 40.5, so a second on that. We'd see him in the region of Alex Pato potentially. This could be pretty special for Michel. Wait and see. It's a long wait down to turn 1. I can see Armchair Bike on an outlap. A big improvement for Michel, and there he is, deposes Alex, and in the soft tyres gets a P4. So very handy lap from him. I think we just about got time to spend a little bit of time with Rockin here before we cut to Armchair Bike potentially for his next run, and we'll try again and do a little track guide for you. Lots of time markings already on the track, especially into that turn 5-6 complex. Now this is where the track gets very tricky. There's a car turned completely around there. I see Tidal Wave has disappeared from the session as well. Rockin, rubbing that front right on the wall. Very easily done. And it's also very easy to invalidate, and he almost does it there. And we want to stay off these curbs. Pick your braking point. 2 wheels on the curb just unsettles the car, seeming to be headed towards the wall momentarily. Rocking a 16.5 middle sector, and that trip through the castle section really cost him. But I think we've got time to potentially join Armchair Bike for his attack lap here. Attempt number 3 with 2.5 minutes left of the session. His rivals have left it a little bit later, but a 90-degree left as you turn 1 rides it out very nicely, maximising the use of the track. Another 90-degree left into the sun. He goes into turn 2. Now it's a straight run, and he's using the straightest line possible down to the treacherous turn 3. We are going to see some action into turn 3, a 90-degree left. Again, slightly overspeed through the apex, left him pointing at the wall, and a late application of throttle. Turn 4 was a 90-degree, turn 5 and 6, both 90-degree corners. And now we're going to get technical and tricky as we get into 7 over the curb and towards the castle. Now, how brave is he feeling? Oh, he gets very close on the left, which buys him some track to use on the right, and beautifully through the switchback here. We'll get an idea of his sector time as after the next braking zone, which comes up around here for turn 15 over the apex. That looked quite neat and tidy, using the outside lines of the track as a mirror guide for where his inside tyre should be. A purple middle sector for Armchair Bike. This one is going to potentially challenge for pole position. Armchair through the 18 and 19 flat out chicane in the dry, not necessarily flat out with a heavy car in the wet. Looks like we're going to have a dry quali and race for you tonight. An Armchair Bike, a 38.278, does get ahead of his championship rival Moraine, who is also now on a lap. He's actually invalidated this lap, and that's going to cost him the chance to compete. I don't think he's going to get around to do another lap for Moraine there. Potentially out of this one. A purple middle for Prime, nearly 2/10 faster, but he's going to need to grab a much larger amount through the next sector, and it's very difficult to gain time in sector 3. But Prime looking to consolidate his 3rd place here. I don't think he's got enough to get up onto the front row. Prime then, a good place to start the race. P3 with a 1/4 second improvement, still 1/2 second off the Dutch pairing of Armchair Bike and Moraine. Libnow is just finishing a lap, and he's positive on his delta, nearly 2/10, and then across the line then didn't get to see where he finished. Stitch saying he got a good Michiel saying he got a tow from Stitch, and Stitch saying his lack sector killed him a little bit. But Armchair Bike and Moraine, we've got a Dutch front row, McLaren and Williams, and our top 2 in the championship in the correct order. Prime and Michiel, Alex, Pato, Radical, Libnow, Todd and Fioretto, with Instant starting in 10th. And then on free choice of tyres, we see Tommy, Rockin, Tidal Wave, Purple Snack and Face Stitch. We'll start from the back with Alex Pato in P5 on mediums. That's a great place to start, a great strategic position to start this race, and hopefully we'll see something special from him. He just needs to navigate the first few corners safely, and once you're through turn 4, I think you're feeling pretty confident of where you are, but it's really those first 3 corners that are going to cost our drivers potentially tonight. I'm hoping for a clean run through there. I'm still hoping for a little bit of action, but a clean run through there would certainly be very useful, and hopefully some good behaviour under restarts as well. It's a very tempting track to kind of mess about with restarts, but it's absolutely imperative that our drivers take it easy They're warned every week in the driver's briefing from the stewards, if they bother to read it, to take restarts super careful. And of course, to respect the pit entry and pit exit lines. They're also very, very important. We're kind of hoping that drivers won't launch dive bombs into the castle section, because that's rife with difficulties as well. So away for our formation lap go the drivers. Big cloud of smoke from Moraine as he pulls away. Let's have a look at our tyre situation. Interestingly to see, only Tidal Wave opting for mediums in the bottom 5 cars. They all had that opportunity, so everybody deciding to start on mediums apart from Alex and Tidal Wave. So Stitch will start at the back in the AlphaTauri. His teammates up there in 6th. We've got Purple Snack in the Haas, the only Haas tonight, down in 14th, and Tidal Wave. McLaren starting 13th here, and of course on pole. Rockin for Ferrari will start 12th, and his teammate is 7th. Tommy in the Mercedes 11th. Interested as to why he didn't elect to go for mediums. Instant in the Aston Martin will start 10th. We have Fioretto 9th with his teammate missing tonight. We've got Todd in 8th with his teammate up on 2nd place, so 2nd and 8th for Williams. Libnau, the lead Ferrari, in 7th with Radicals here in 6th. We have Alex Pato in the only Alfa Romeo tonight. Michel. Then, of course, the top 3 are Prime, Moraine, and Armchair Bike, who leads the championship. Remember, the mission for Armchair Bike is to outscore Moraine by 17 or more points to secure the championship tonight. A little far-fetched, perhaps, but certainly seen situations like that occur in the past. Prime looking for a strong result tonight to try and get himself away from 5th in the championship and up to 3rd, if possible. See, Purple Snack and Stitch have just been disqualified from this for a little bit of contact. Easy done when the drivers are warming up their tyres, but they've done themselves out of warm tyres by that happening. Of course, didn't see on stream if anyone was responsible or not. Armchair Bike, Moraine and Prime are your top 3. Prime with the opportunity for a slipstream. You can see the heat haze coming off the back of that McLaren already. Very nice little detail there. And hopefully we'll be able to get you a good camera angle to start this race. Armchair Bike on the outside, on the natural racing line. As far as it happens on a street track, the cleaner line. We've got 5 lights. It's lights out and go, go, go away from the start. Looks like a fairly even start from the McLaren and the Williams. As usual, not playing it too aggressive between each other. It looks like Michel getting just the tiniest of taps from Prime, perhaps slightly overzealous move from Michel there. Prime not having any of it. Looks like the second McLaren Tidal Wave spun around in the back and out of this race, out of contention at least. Down there on the medium tyres, I'm sure it would have picked up some damage from the contact with the wall. But Prime, Moraine and Armchair Bike in reverse order at the start of the race have held on to their positions, and we've survived turn 3 as well without major incident. Just Michel and Tidal Wave having spins. Stitch getting up 1 versus Purple Snack, and the drivers head towards the castle section for the first time. 26 laps we'll have for you tonight, so a relatively small amount of laps, but of course a 6-kilometre track is why there are a smaller amount of laps to play with. Pit stop strategy predicts a lap 5 to 8 medium call, or a possible hard for any early damage runners. Hards struggle to last much more than 22 laps around here, so it's certainly not an easy one. A little bit further down, looks like we've got Radicals trying an unconventional move on Tommy there into turn 16, and will not profit from it. They made a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, and Tommy held off. I'm just trying to see if anyone looks like they might make a move heading down. I think possibly Fioretto is on the move. Yeah, he's got a good slipstream, but he's going to still have to complete the move under the brakes. Instant peeling into the pits this early on. Instant struggling around there, and has pitted way away from his plan A. Could be down to plan F or G at this point for him. Liv now on the back straight has an opportunity here to close in on Alex Pato, but the top speed looks a little bit better in the setup on the Alfa Romeo. Remember, all our cars are equal performance, so it's nothing to do with the engine difference, and it wouldn't be anyway between Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. Liv now getting crossed up on the way out. Alex has made up a place on those medium tyres and is in a brilliant position for this race. Definitely going to be interesting to watch Alex's trip. Stitch has apologised to Purple Snack already for running into the back of him, I guess. So through the castle they go. Ryan closing in on Armchair Bike, but typically these two like to get away from the rest of the field and battle with each other. Although for the championship's sake, Armchair Bike could definitely do with holding up Marine here and pushing him towards the clutches of Prime. A yellow flag in sector 2. Looks like we've got a problem in the castle. Is that Stitch? It is. Stitch just struggling on to recover the car. Stitch down there now in 14th, soon to be joined by Tidal Wave if he's picked up any damage. Back at the front though, Marine with a half a second gap to Armchair Bike. DRS will now be enabled, and he'll get a run on the way into turn 2. Just check anybody else isn't making a move. I think potentially Fioretto and Rockin. Not quite. Very close between those guys. Let's go back up to the front though, because Marine has got DRS for the first time. Not close enough under braking, and the gaps are starting to open up there. We've got the front two, then the next two, 2 seconds back, then 2 seconds back. We've got Lib now. Tommy and VTOD are quite equispaced as well as Radicals, but behind Radicals we've got Fioretto and Rockin very close as well for the top 10. Tidal Wave has gone on to hard tyres, so it's opted for that strategy. As I mentioned, a difficult one to run if we have green flag racing all the way to the end. It's definitely going to be a long old run for him. Marine and an Armchair Bike go through the castle then for the third time, and very nicely through and safely. Prime holding off for the time being, Alex Pato, but it does look like Alex has got good pace tonight. He's on the worst tyre at this particular stage, but it won't be long before the soft tyres ahead of him start to give up. Now an issue there surely for Lib now with Tommy getting by. They weren't super close together, so Tommy profits from potentially a Lib now mistake or issue. Let's go back to our front two, who will have Marine will now have the DRS. Will he use it? Yes, I think he is. So a fastest lap for Marine now, 42.227. Prime will have Alex Pato close behind, but not close enough to make a move. Now Marine with DRS. Looks like Armchair Bike has got a good run out of turn 2. That will help him hold off any move from in front. Lib now has pitted, potentially. I wonder if he got picked up some damage with that little issue through the castle, and his teammates in the pits at the same time, and that's not going to help the Ferrari team bosses organise their strategy. It looks like Rockin potentially actually had to wait. He's getting a new front wing, and I think he had to be stacked as well. So disaster really for Ferrari in these first 4 laps. Going to find themselves right at the back, certainly out of the points contention at the moment. Marine has closed in half a second now, our gap in the front two. I don't want to give the entire stream to these two again, but this is pretty important for the championship. You feel if Marine can't do better than Armchair Bike here tonight, he's kind of just delaying the inevitable. But he really needs to get by and heavily outscore Armchair Bike to keep his championship hopes alive. But it's never over until it's over. we can have disconnections, we can have issues, we can have people retiring from the session like V Todd has just done. And there you saw his car out of the race in the exit of turn 16. He's triggered a safety car, unfortunately, and Alex Pato's gone past the pits. Marine and Armchair Bike have managed to get that notification early, as has Prime and Tommy. Radicals, Furetto, Purple Snack will do the same, so will Michiel, I'm sure. And what will Libnow do? Of course, he's just pitted, so he'll gain a few positions back, and that couldn't have come at a better time for him. But what about Alex Pato now? An unfortunate situation. All the front runners have gone on to mediums, and I'd be surprised, honestly, if the mediums make 22 laps to the end of this race, but it's a fairly safe bet that there will be another safety car. And also, after safety cars, hard tyres are a nightmare, so maybe it's a good move all the same. So Libnow will rejoin here in 8th position, and the front running cars have now caught the safety car, so hopefully we'll be able to condense our field for you quite quickly. Stitch has pitted, and that might cause an issue to get everybody back to behind the safety car in time for it to come in. So we may well go through again on lap 5 then. We've got our first safety car of the evening here in Baku. Alex Pato leads, having the only driver not to pit yet from Armchair Bike and Marine. Prime is in 4th place with his teammate all the way up there in 5th, and that's super impressive given where he started. So Tommy up 6 places so far. We have Radicals is in 6th place from Furetto in the Red Bull. Then Libnow just recovering a few places there with a pit stop very nicely timed before the safety car. Purple Snack up 5 from the back in 9th. Then Michiel, really the biggest loser out of the race so far, who hasn't retired. Michiel clashing with Prime in the early stages. He was right at the back of the grid, so he has at least made up several places from that situation. We've got Rockin in 11th, Tidal Wave down there in 12th. He's on hard tyres. Then Instant and Stitch right at the back. Well, the safety car will stay out again. We have 0 penalties on the board. It's the Mercedes safety car for us out there in Azerbaijan. This is not the first time Alex Pato has had his alternate strategy somewhat ruined by the intervention of an early safety car, but it's worked for him in the past, and he did an amazing qualifying lap to qualify on the mediums. This race still could come to Alex, but the chance of a safety car has been reduced by 1/15th, given that our field is down to 14 now. Alex has had a very good run of form recently, driving a historic race car number 27, of course made famous by Gilles Villeneuve. Interestingly, a Union Jack hanging from the Azerbaijan apartment complex balcony there. I don't think we've got any Brits in the race tonight. We don't usually here in Race Spec Euro Series. We'll get some interesting camera angles for you. Any predictions from our audience tonight? Make sure that you get those in now. How many more safety cars are we likely to see? I think another 2, but we'll see. Reminder to like the video tonight, please. If you're watching live, please just like the video before entering the live chat, and subscribe to Race Spec Esports. Lots and lots of racing, especially for those insomniacs who can't sleep in the middle of the night here in Europe and fancy watching a bit of racing. Because the Asia and the Pacific series will be racing at the right time. Again, that car of Stitch is still too far back, and I think because he hasn't caught the tail of the safety car queue, I think we're going round again, folks. So there's enough time for me to ask you to follow at Race Spec Esports on Twitter. And while there, you can also follow my output, which is at WebORed5. So 2 more races to go after this one in our championship, and it's those top 2 of Armchair Bike and Marine who are in contention really for the crown. Prime is on a mission to try and rescue 3rd place out of this championship, given his difficulties with attendance sometimes. Hasn't attended all the races. A collision between Instant and Tidal Wave. Now normally that's the fault of the car behind. Let's see how Tidal Wave is doing. He's been turned around completely. He was ahead of Instant, so Tidal Wave presumably will not be happy with this one. Big shame for him down there, now back in 14th, especially when his teammate is in 2nd place. 6 laps now on Alex Pato's medium tyres, so it won't be too difficult. Depends how hard he was using them to stay with Prime earlier. He wasn't too much in the dirty air, but not a lot of dirty air effects with these short, tight apex 90-degree corners. You don't get a lot of high downforce effect on the tyres. Not a lot of turning motion going on. A lot of point, straight, and straight braking. So it's a track that lends itself, apart from this particular section we're in now, to following quite closely behind another driver. And I think that's why you get so many overtakes, especially into turn 3. Drivers willing to have a go, despite the narrow street circuit feel. So will we finally go racing, I wonder? Marine, I don't know how Marine has suddenly appeared at the foot of the field. I hope that's not real. But if I missed that, let me know on the stream what happened with Marine. But he's down there in 14th. Same pit strategy. Did he drop off the track? It's very difficult to legally drop off the track here on a street circuit with walls either side. You should be able to recover your places. But Marine down in 14th. That's exactly the championship situation that Armchair Bike needs to win it tonight. So a lot of weaving going on. Waiting for now. Armchair Bike has an opportunity, has a slipstream. What will Alex Pato do here? Will he bother to defend? No. Armchair Bike leading the championship with Marine all the way down there at the foot of the field. I'm sure he won't want to win it this way with his friend down a long way behind him. We've got some action going on behind as the Aston Martin makes contact with the Haas, gets underneath the Haas. Big snap of oversteer on traction. We head down into turn 3. Thankfully the car's making it through this time. Looks like Marine and Tidal Wave have both pitted, presumably to fix damage on that safety car lap. But the action, it continues with Tommy now. Alex has lost 2 places in that exchange. Simply the effect of the older tyres, I think, for Alex. It's working out brilliantly. He finds himself behind Prime again. Prime having already made a pit stop. Thanks to the safety car and the difference in starting strategy. So it's really not working for Alex at the moment, but the race is still young. Just lap 8 of 26 completed. The big issue here is, how did Marine end up down the foot of the field? Armchair Bike certainly stands to take the championship tonight if the places remain as they are. Armchair Bike leading and trying to gap Prime now, succeeding very well indeed. Radicals tucked up behind Tommy. We'll hope to get through turns 18 and 19 cleanly. Libnau's retired from the session. That helps Marine gain another place. Radicals trying to use the slipstream before the DRS is enabled. They can't get past. Michel's managing on Purple Snack though. Michel gets by. Instant, his teammate, also gets by. So Purple Snack losing 2 places on that one straight. But really, I think where the big points are paying tonight, you've got Radical on the hunt against Tommy here. Just waiting for that DRS notification to come up for them. So Moraine in 12th will need to score, I think, up into P6 if my maths are correct, to defend the championship or delay it for another race. Armchair Bike definitely in a good position so far tonight, but of course Moraine can afford to take crazy risks. He's gone onto hard tyres. He's 16 seconds behind the car in front of him, so another safety car could definitely help his strategy come into play, but of course he'll be on the wrong tyres after that safety car, so who knows. All to play for, and Moraine's pace will be very quick. I'm sure the question though really is whether he can rein in his desire to push too hard, and if he pushes too hard, of course the walls are very welcoming here in Azerbaijan, and I've already seen 2 of our cars disappear, and several of them make contact with the wall and suffer damage. Radical now, will he get the DRS this time? He's begging for that DRS to come available. It hasn't still. Armchair Bike, a new fastest lap. There we go, finally with the DRS, as Radicals gets within 0.3 of a second on the back of Tommy. So his opportunity, first proper opportunity, is going to come here on the run down to turn 3. Mercedes just getting away slightly, but not very far, as the AlphaTauri might make a lunge here to the inside. He's going to try. That's a very, very clumsy move. Finds himself stuck with Tommy T-boned, and now heading down the field. That was a pretty awful move, frankly, from Radicals, who just aimed his car at the rear tyre of Tommy, and it was never going to, the gap was never going to open for him. So I only see the incident once, so I can't be too harsh, but benefit of the doubt for me would go with Tommy there, who was just punted around and stopped dead. So that promotes that helps Alex Pato, just relieves the pressure a little bit. Oh, Radical out of the race already. His teammate's about to pass him. He's gone round in the castle. Potentially, you wonder whether it's overheated tyres. Passion Rocking with a little bump and go from Stitch, who I think might have some damage as well. Can't see anything visible on the car. But lads, Radicals out. Tidal Wave up to 12th. Moraine now up to 11th. It's caught up to the car behind at a tremendous pace. And Prime now 1.3 seconds off the lead of Armchair Bike. We've got Alex Pato in 3rd. Michel in 4th. I think Fioretto has gone into the pits and is dropping down the order. 5 laps on mediums. That's not there for... interesting from David Couch. Thank you for that info. I hadn't caught that we will have 3 remaining races. So the standings that I reviewed just before the race didn't bear that out. So thanks to David. Potentially an extra chance here for Moraine, but should Armchair Bike finish where he is and Moraine not get into high points positions, it's certainly going to be very, very close to being clinched. Good info though. Thanks, David. Spanish Grand Prix still to come after being missed. Instinct gets a penalty as we just ride with him. We see exactly why, as he overstepped the curb line. Moraine getting past Stitch there. Moraine now into 9th place, and his trip back up the field continues. His pace is electric on these hard tyres, bearing in mind his all his competitors have got mediums on around him. He's still going faster than most of them. The gaps, as can often happen here in Azerbaijan, have opened up. We are past the 1/3 distance, possibly into the 2/5 distance of our race. Lap 12 of 26 sees Armchair Bike lead from Prime. We have Alex Pato in 3rd, who has yet to pit Then Michiel 6 seconds behind him, with Instant, his teammate, 2 seconds behind him. In 6th is Tommy, Purple Snack in 7th, Rockin, Marine and Stitch make out your top 10. Furetto and Tidal Wave still touring, but some way behind the field at the moment. So let's join Tommy and see if he can recover from that that very opportunistic move from Radical. Or was it the other way around? I forget. So we'll have a quick look at fastest lap. I think Armchair Biker's got it. He has at the moment 41.4. 42.2 is Marine's best attempt so far. Gap to the leader then. Marine has got a 34-second gap after that issue under the safety car. Rockin loses out to Marine there. As far as penalties go, Instant has an 8-second, Rockin a 5, and Tidal Wave a 5, so just the 1 track limit abuse penalty. Marine's now got a 12-second gap ahead of him to catch Purple Snack in 7th. I dare say he'll get that done in the next 14 laps. Let's see what Stitch is up to. Oh, we see Tidal Wave just clatter the wall with his right rear. It's not going to do himself any favours on his trip back up the grid. It's a very difficult track here in Azerbaijan to stay out of the wall. Stitch being caught hand over fist by Tidal Wave, gets by on the outside. Tidal Wave making very, very light work of Stitch. Difference in pace there, not much in the way of difference in tyre usage, but Tidal Wave certainly with some good pace at the moment. Gets by and now gaps Stitch easily. So Tommy is closing in on DRS range of Instant ahead of him. Good DRS catch by Tommy, who gets by Instant very cleanly. Tommy up to P5 now. His teammates up there in P2, and Mercedes currently the top team in our standings, 5th and 2nd. Tommy getting by easily. Instant there using the DRS, of course. Instant has a right to reply, but not quite close enough, and I can well see a situation where Tommy starts to drift away. So Instant staying within 6/10 here of Tommy. Big gaps opened up in the field. It's hard to know who to watch in that situation because you can't quite predict when the next driver makes a mistake. You can see the field spread on the track map. Very impressive. Armchair Bike out there, 2.7 seconds. I think he's probably managing the gap at the moment. Marine has dropped the gap to Purple Snack down to 5 seconds, That's been going very well indeed for him. We'll see the DRS in operation for the Aston Martin of Instant. He gets within half a second. A second bite of DRS coming up might get him into contention, or at least prevent Tommy from drifting away. His pace difference was very notable earlier. Here he goes then, down to 4/10. Just not close enough to make a move into turn 3. Very tricky corner, scene of many an accident, of course. So the drivers likely to be having issues with concentration levels. A reminder, Alex Pato yet to pit. We saw a lockup from Instant, followed by a very wide moment from Tommy. And just as I was talking about the driver's focus, so that almost went very wrong. And in fact, Instant too close to Tommy to really capitalise, ended up backing out of it on the way into the castle, and has lost all that impetus that he had gained. So very close to the wall. Instant, I think, hit the curb on turn 18, touched the wall in turn 19, and I think that's going to end his battle with Tommy. Marine, look at this incredible speed difference here for Marine. He's now just half a second back from Purple Snack. He'll have a go, I think. If not into turn 1, then into turn 3. Oh, it's going to be easy. The Williams. Well, that was unnecessary, wasn't it? That was wholly unnecessary from Marine, and Purple Snack would be within his rights to accuse him of a sideswipe there. Not particularly sporting behaviour from Marine, as he dispatches Purple Snack most unceremoniously, and Purple Snack may well appeal that particular move. It seemed over the top, and Purple Snack ended up hitting the wall, albeit relatively gently, as Marine drifted on by. Instant has stayed within a second. Marine now has 12 seconds to catch the back of Instant with 10 laps to go. Surprising lack of incidents so far, but we're still seeing drivers losing it all the time. So I'll try and give some attention. We're going to see how Alex's tyres are doing. I think let's ride with Alex Pato, see how the tyres are handling. He's got a 4-second gap behind, so nowhere near enough to make a pit stop yet. He'll be praying for a safety car, which will help him get on terms with the rest of the drivers ahead. Tyres so far looking very smooth for Alex. Pit stops for Instant, Marine and Purple Snack. Tidal Wave promoted to 8th then on those 8-lap-old medium tyres. Soft tyres going on with 9 laps to run. So Instant and Marine looking for a 9-lap sprint. 9 laps is still a little bit adventurous for the soft tyres here. It looks like we've got that safety car Alex has been waiting for, as Tommy seemingly out of the race. Where is he, folks? Where is Tommy? We've just missed him. Drive with Purple Snack. We'll go through turn 3. I think that's where Tommy lost it, in turn 3. So that really feeds into Alex's hands here, who was waiting for that safety car. Armchair Bike and Prime come in as triggered, exactly the right time for them, but Alex lost out from the first pit stop strategically. This time, hopefully, just needs to get the car stopped down to the right speed, 80k. In he comes then, and a pit stop for him. Should have a great 8-lap run to the end of this race on soft tyres for everybody, and a late race battle after the restart, and we all know how often that produces fireworks. So Michel behind him has come in to the pits. Looks like everybody on new tyres. Prime has gone on to mediums, so a long hold under the safety car will not help Prime here. He needs a very short safety car period. Interesting decision from Prime there. I don't think he will have used up all his softs, so very, very intriguing decision. Looks like Marine will be able to get back up on terms as Tidal Wave goes on by the pits, doesn't fancy another pit stop. Should be able to get his mediums, he thinks, to the end at least, but doesn't take the opportunity. Quite happy with 6th place, with some fresh tired runners behind him. Marine and Furetto on soft tyres. Purple Snack in for those soft tyres now after just making a pit stop. He's serving a penalty. Nice cheap penalty serve going on. Questionable whether that should happen under safety car. What's your opinion if you're watching along? A reminder, please, while we're under safety car conditions, to go ahead and like the video tonight, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter. So final pit stop then from Rockin for the Ferrari. Another Ferrari front wing goes on a car. New mediums on again. So just Tidal Wave on old mediums. Just 2 penalties to serve as we finish out this race. Now, how will the drivers react to these soft tyres? Will Armchair Bike be able to get away just as easily? Alex will be very relieved to see that safety car and be in 3rd position at the moment, as he's still trying to catch the back of the safety car. We may end up with just a 6-lap sprint at the end, and we're getting dangerously close to frantic fireworks at the end of a race. We've got a Ferrari almost, well, still in the same sector as the safety car, so some distance for them to catch. Yeah, everybody on equal terms though. New tyres, of course, for everybody, apart from Tidal Wave. But a slight mixture in decision on wear. Prime will not be as quick on the restart as everybody else. The race may come to him at the end, but I've got my doubts, unfortunately. I think it might be slightly overly conservative decision from Prime there. I'm sure he'll make it work though, and he'll run qualifying laps as much as he can. So 2 safety cars, hopefully just 2 safety cars tonight. No further pit stops from anybody. So Armchair Bike leads from Prime and Alex Pato. Michel in 4th, Instant in 5th. Tidal Wave runs 6th. Marine possibly not high enough to keep the championship alive if we have 2 further races in the championship. I'm trying to get confirmation from our league coordinator on that. Not to disagree with David at all, but just want it from the official source as well. Proper journalistic approach to get 2 sources for any claim, but it's all the same. Michel in 4th and Instant in 5th, making the top team result so far. The top team finish would be 4th and 5th for Aston Martin, although Tidal Wave, if he manages to hold on to 6th, McLaren will score highly too, with 1st and 6th, although frankly he's going to be very vulnerable to the likes of Marine and Furetto. Purple Snack too, potentially. So it wouldn't be a big surprise to see Tidal Wave down in 9th after the next couple of laps. Safety car will stay out, I think, almost entirely down to this field spread. So a chance to look at how many stops everybody's made. Quite a broad pit stop strategy for everybody. Tidal Wave has made up 7 places, but he has a penalty and bad tyres on. Instant up 5 and may hold on to most of those, with Marine down 5, but with some of the race left to run, I'm sure he'll be not 5 places down by the end of this one. 5 up each for Purple Snack and Stitch, but mostly gaining from our non-finishers, Tommy, Radical, Libnow and Todd. That Ferrari of Rockin still hasn't caught the safety car tail. Unfortunately, he can't drive at racing speed. He has to drive to a delta, so it's a big hold up for him. Absolute glorious track here in Azerbaijan. I think you could potentially shorten the start-finish straight and the end straight there. It's rather a dull run from turn 18, 19 all the way down to turn 1. Just fill it a little bit over the top just to say we've got the longest straight in F1. So 6 laps to go if the safety car decides to come in shortly, and the field has condensed sufficiently. The safety car will come in this lap, and Armchair Bike will choose when to go. A reminder on the tyre situation. Oh, Alex has binned the car, re-warming the tyres. Alex from a potential podium spins and down to 11th. Nightmare, absolute nightmare for Alex. You can see the violence that the drivers have to put into the steering angles to try and generate enough heat. Purple Snack Stitch, penalties all over the grid. That included Marine, our championship contender, as Armchair Bike presses go. Michiel promoted to 3rd place in that melee. It was all kicking off down there. I wonder how many drivers will battle with that one. A wipeout moment from Tidal Wave, a very, very late braking move. Very over the top. Frankly, that looked very messy from Tidal Wave as he wiped out Michiel from a podium sitting position. Michiel will be super angry with that one. Prime challenging now. Armchair Bike. Remember, Tidal Wave's tyres were much older, but there's no excuse for that kind of braking misjudgment. Hopefully Tidal Wave will hold up his hand and it wasn't a deliberate action. I'm sure it wasn't. He's an experienced racer with us. An honest mistake. Maybe he pressed the magic brake button, I should say brake magic button, as Marine doubles down on the issues he's had already and is adding to his penalty woes. But Armchair Bike critically has picked up a penalty, a 3-second penalty, and Prime, Mr. Consistency, Mr. Clean when it comes to track limits. Prime, the only one in the top 9 without a penalty so far, and his mission is just to stay within 3 seconds of Armchair Bike now. Marine up to P3, but with 8 seconds of penalty to pay. He wants to dissuade Prime from taking the win as much as Armchair Bike does, but Prime will have DRS shortly. He needs to stay with Armchair Bike as much as possible. Instant note with a slipstream on the back of Marine. Will he go for it? It's very close, but I don't think he's got quite the pace to battle. Marine has 8 seconds of penalties, so Instant doesn't necessarily have to make a move. He can live with him for a few laps here. Marine's traction is incredible though, out of turn 2. and Prime is almost outside of the critical 1 second gap he needs to stay within to keep the overspeed and stay with Armchair Bike. Just needs to force another error, but the further Armchair Bike gets away, the easier that's going to be. Prime on medium tyres is absolutely doing this with one hand tied behind his back, but driving clean as ever. Prime in a great position here tonight. Can Armchair Bike pull away with 4 racing laps left to run? Brilliant stuff. Alex Pato has confirmed for us exactly what David said. We have 3 races remaining in our season, so Armchair Bike will not win it this time out regardless. Wish I'd have known that before I did the whole script twice tonight, once after having connected my microphone. Broke Vegan is here for Purple Snack. Yeah, he's having quite a run tonight, has to be said. Prime is struggling on those tyres to stay with Armchair Bike. Armchair has half the distance he needs now to still win this. He's got the fastest lap on a 40.321. Watch that, the top of that screen, to see if he can hold on. Rockin chasing down Purple Snack here in P7. That's what we like to see. Lots of comments on the live chat. Make them different though occasionally. Here we go then. Passion. He's the only one with the DRS here down this back straight. Prime starting to catch now. I wonder, are those soft tyres on Armchair Bike already past their best? I would say past their prime, but that would just confuse matters. Issue there for Purple Snack through the slow chicane. Good to have Broke Vegan with us, livening things up. Just don't take my attention away from the remaining 3 laps too much. So Prime now 1.6 seconds back. He needs to stay within 3 seconds. He's seemingly halted the progress of Armchair Bike a little bit. Marine not catching too quickly either to slow him down. Prime hoping to try and get up to 3rd place in the championship over the course of the next 3 races. Don't know if he'll make it. Oh, Purple Snack, a big oversteer moment on the way out of the final corner. He's going to absolutely welcome Rockin to make a move. It's going to also hand something over to Michiel, who frankly was on for a podium tonight prior to being wiped out by Tidal Wave. Rockin gets by comfortably. Purple Snack coming back at him though with DRS, I think. Purple Snack round the outside. Let's get a good camera angle, Mr. Race Director. There we go. Purple Snack round the outside. Great retaliation, great response from being passed and making a mistake out of the final corner. Yeah, holds on. Now Rockin with DRS comes back at him. Down the inside into turn 3. He's already got past. Nice move from Rockin as Prime starts to catch Armchair Bike now. Oh, Rockin just struggling on these tyres. Just missing the apex. So Purple Snack down to 7th despite all the support he's got on the live stream. Armchair Bike first, Prime second with just over 2 laps to go. Marine in 3rd. Amazingly, after being after losing the car. Oh, we ride on board with Passion Rockin, who hits reverse after hitting the wall. Thankfully, no one was coming up behind, so that promotes Purple Snack and Michiel once again. And I think a trip to the pits might be in order. It's going to be a hard job to try and get that Ferrari around the track with a broken front wing for the remaining 2 laps. It's very difficult round here. It's a high downforce requiring track. So yellow flag sector 2 now. I'm assuming that that's Rockin unable to get round as here comes Michiel trying to get by Purple Snack now. He'll get DRS. He's so close already. He won't even need the DRS. Prime gets down to within a second now, up ahead of these two, and through goes Michel, P6, driving, I would imagine, pretty angrily after being taken out from a podium position. Talking of podiums though, here is Prime now just 0.8, 0.9 of a second behind Armchair Bike, and his only mission here is to not trigger a track limit penalty. If I had a co-commentator with me, I would ask them to check out the race director so we can see how close Prime is to a penalty. Maybe Alex Pato, if he's still connected, would have a look for us if he's watching along. Prime 1 second behind Armchair Bike. Can he get within DRS zone? He's gapping Marine now. Definitely the medium tyres on Prime's car coming to their own as this race finishes out. Just over a lap to go, and Prime just needs to stay within that gap. Instant has managed to get within half a second of Fioretto in the battle of the remaining passions in our race tonight. Rockin's gone from the session. I think he might have retired in the pits or retired on track. His car's gone anyway, so he will not play any further part, even though he was on for a point, but presumably not exactly in a great mood. So the final lap has begun at the front of the field. Instant isn't going to get by there. What about Prime? He doesn't need to challenge, of course. D-rating going on from Armchair Bike, and perhaps that's an interesting factor when it comes to whether Prime saved enough ERS. Oh, he's getting so close. He's going to be so tempted to make a move, but Prime, if you do it, the potential for disaster is so strong. Prime now quarter of a second behind Armchair Bike, making himself known in the mirrors. I'm sure Prime wants to win this on track, but frankly, it hardly seems worth it. He'll get DRS. He'll be close enough for a clean DRS pass down the start-finish straight. A draft to the line. Maybe that's on for Prime here. He's lost out a little bit. He needs to be within, I would say, 3/10 into the final corner to make this one work. They come towards turn 16. Instant gets by Fioretto in the background, but this is all about a draft to the line now. This could be it on the very final turn and very final straight of the circuit. Here comes Prime as he goes through past Armchair Bike to win the race on the road. Tremendous stuff. He should have DRS. Armchair Bike trying to draft past. Will he get by? I think he will. Armchair Bike crosses the line first, but Prime wins in Azerbaijan thanks to that penalty. A double draft finish for you on the line there as Marine picks up a unserved penalty, 5 seconds. Nothing particularly surprising as far as that's concerned, but Instant crosses the line in 4th place. Looks like Fioretto lost out hugely in that exchange with his Passion teammate across manufacturers, but Michel in 5th rescues a strong points finish out of this one. Marine will get 3rd and continue that championship battle into the next race. Fioretto 6th, Purple Snack 7th, Tidal Wave after a very dodgy restart finishes 8th. Be surprised to see him finish there overall. And Stitch coming in 9th. Armchair Bike got the fastest lap of the race by some margin, but it was a Prime finish, a Prime win, and hopefully I will be able to get you a conversation with Prime here. I'll try and get our podium finishers into a chat if you'll just stay with us on stream. Usually good to see Prime. There he is, boxing his way onto the podium. Hook, jab and an uppercut from Prime, and that's how it's done. He'll be ecstatic, I'm sure. He promised me more Prime time after the last time we talked. Beautiful win for him, thrilling finish to the race, and Armchair Bike strong points for his championship at the end here. So Prime wins for Mercedes by a tiny margin, on the road, just a tenth of a second, but of course with a 3-second penalty for Armchair Bike, it was extended. Armchair Bike then in second place with Marine in third. Instant gets the fourth position, Michel fifth, a Belgian 4-5, and our first of our Italians, Fioretto, in sixth place in the Red Bull. Purple Snack for Haas in seventh with his fan club with him here in the stream with us, and then Tidal Wave, Stitch and Rockin. Rockin did not finish, so may not pick up points tonight. Alex Pato in 11th, Tommy in 12th, Radical 13th, Libnell 14th, and Vitard was our first retiree. So, stay with us on the stream. We thank you so much. Please make sure you like the video while I go and see if I can get hold of Prime and Armchair Bike to finish this stream off with a little bit of a chat with our podium finishers. I'll see if I can do it for you. A relatively early finish for us. Bear with me. Usually I've got a co-commentator to help me sort that out, but I'll do what I can. So, let's hope we can see Prime there to finish. It looked like he didn't really have the pace of Armchair Bike, but right at the final stint, as the tyres came in, it looks like Prime is going to join us. Hopefully in the press conference. Looks like he's just making his way in. I'm hoping that he's checking his broadcast audio settings are set to share. But Prime, are you with us?
I'm here.
Excellent stuff. Wow, it was definitely a nail-biting finish there, but you got it in the end.
I totally did it. It was a 300 IQ strategy call at the latest safety car. Amazing work.
I have to say, I called it on the stream. I said, I don't know if Prime's chosen the right tyres there, but you absolutely did. It looked like they came into their own right in that final 2 laps.
Yeah, they totally did. And, well, I was a bit of a shocked that all of the others went with softs at the end of the race. And then I noticed that, they were C5 tires and I have C4, so they will die much faster than my medium. So I did the right call to bid on those. So yeah, I took the risk and it worked very nicely.
It really did.
That was a prime time at the end of the race.
Definitely
finally.
Prime time right at the end. It's a little bit of a shame that Armchair Bike got past you again on the line on the roads to because I thought you were going to do it, and you were going to do it in style, but he just got you on the line there by 1/10 in the end. But yeah, very very clean finish. Of course, I said on stream you're typically very clean in terms of the way you drive to track limits, and you often profit from those drivers who catch those penalties. But how did the rest of the race go? It looked like Armchair Bike had the pace on you for the majority of the race.
He did, but here's the thing that at the middle of the race, just before the last safety car, I was saving the ERS.
Yeah.
So that's why he went away from me like about 0.2 per lap, and 1 point it was like 4 seconds the gap. But just before the safety car came, the gap was there at 4 seconds. But yeah, I totally love this track. It's one of my like top five tracks in this game, and I enjoy driving here. But like the start was a bit of a shaky for me because I was having a lot of pressure, and I have to set up the brake bias and everything to the optimal level. So I tested 50, 51, 52% of brake bias, and then I checked the transmission, the differential, and it worked with the 95%.
Wow.
So it was very intense first laps. Thank God I didn't crash out at no point.
Talking of crashing out, did you happen to catch what happened to Marine under the safety car? Because he suddenly
Yes,
ended
I
up at the back of
did.
the grid.
Very surprisingly, that level of good driver
Yeah.
does that kind of a mistake, and even under the safety car conditions. Very surprisingly.
What did he do? Was it just warming the tires, or?
Pretty possible he was warming the tires and then he locked his brake.
Ah, it's exactly what happened. We were watching from onboard Alex Pato as well, and he did the same thing under that final safety car. He was on for a podium, but so was Michiel behind you, and tidal wave came barreling into the first corner and wiped him and himself out. So you didn't have a lot of competition from behind, but you made up for it with a battle right to the end of the race. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah. Pato was like a main rival at the beginning of the race.
Yes.
But just after the first safety car, he was on the old mediums, and when I was on the fresh mediums, the gap was there. Like the difference was huge.
Yeah. So what were you missing in qualifying tonight, Prime? Was it just your race setup being better, or something went wrong in quali?
I think it was just a race setup.
Okay.
Because I just also in quali I was struggling with the brakes, so that is my honest answers for you, mate.
Good stuff. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you after the race, especially when you've won. So hopefully you'll be on target to try and get into third position in the championship at the end of this season.
My aim is there, like Spain next week, then is Imola, and then Brazil. Now it's game on for the third place. I will go for it.
Good stuff. Well, good to talk to you. Congratulations, and raise a glass to Prime for a fantastic race, beating our championship leader on the road, and fantastic end of race strategy. Good stuff, Prime. Thanks for talking.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Well, thanks, folks, for watching. I don't think Armchair Bike is going to show up unless he speaks now. No, he hasn't turned up. So it looks like we're just going to make do with Prime tonight. We really enjoyed that race. A little bit of a fallow period in the middle, but a late race safety car always spices things up. And Prime guessed the strategy absolutely correctly. Thanks to everyone who has contributed to the stream tonight, for liking the video, for subscribing to the channel, following us on Twitter, and thanks to our league coordinators, and particularly to Alex Pato for all the invites and the hosting as well. Make sure that that after you've recovered from your disappointment, if you've driven tonight, that you keep it sporting, you keep it nice, and keep coming back strong in our final 3 races. Same time, same place next week, guys, and like I say, I've been Webbo Red 5, and this has been Race Spec Esports Tuesday Combined Series, and I will catch you on the next race day.